Okay, so my major is sports management, and I actually just did a project on this topic, which is drug use and performance enhancing drugs within sports. So, in the world of sports, the main goal is wins, strength, speed, skill, and stuff like that. And some of those achievements, the truth is, lies a growing issue that affects athletes, teams, and sports organizations, which is the use of performance enhancing drugs, or PEDs. So in this, I'll inform you about what drugs in sports are and why athletes use them, and how they're tested and the effects they have on both athletes and in sports industry. And I actually did just do a project on this in my ethics in sports class. So performance-enhancing drugs, or PEDs, are substances that give athletes a physical or mental edge during competition. And one of the things I researched was the World Anti-Doping Agency, which includes steroids, stimulants, hormones like EPOs, and human growth hormones. Steroids typically build muscles and strength, while EPOs increase your red blood cells, which that improves your endurance for whatever sport that you're partaking in. Mostly, if not all of these drugs are banned in professional and amateur sports because they do provide an unfair advantage and can cause serious health risks. And despite the rules, athletes in sports like track and field, cycling, baseball, and even football have been caught using them. It also, aside of the unfair advantage, it deteriorates the ethics of the sport and the people playing it, and it does cause more harm than good at the end of the day. Athletes often face big pressure for performance. It's based on their pay, their viewers who are watching, coaches, their fans, sponsors, and even themselves to perform to the standard that they want. According to one of the articles I read, the United States Anti-Doping Agency, lots of athletes have admitted that fear of losing their place on a team or missing a big contract that they could get has been pushing them towards doping and taking part in that because they don't want to lose this money or this fame or just their place on the team. And others simply believe just that everyone else is doing it, so why shouldn't they? And it's creating a culture within sports of pressure and competition beyond the natural limits of what it should be. The World Anti-Doping Agency oversees international drug testing, while national groups like the USADA handles testing just within the United States. Athletes can be tested anytime, anywhere, without warning. They don't have to be given a heads up, and that's good so they're not getting as much out of their body as they can before the drug test. The test includes a urine and blood sample and that's the way that they detect the banned substances. And if an athlete tests positive, consequences can be including suspension, fines, and permanent bans. That all depends on the sport they play, the organization they're in, and the rules that are set in place for each sport and organization and the athletes. For example, the Lance Armstrong case in the cycling showed how advanced testing and investigations can undercover long doping programs. He was stripped of 7 Tour de France titles after admitting to using PEDs for years. So he was doing it for this long and never got caught, and won all these races without ever getting caught or being detected of it. And as soon as they did, he was stripped of his wins, and he got his consequences for what he was doing. Drugs can have both a physical and social consequences. Physically, things like steroids and hormones can cause liver damage, heart problems, and mood swings. Athletes can also become dependent on the drugs to perform well, meaning that if they're not taking the drugs, they don't think that they will be able to perform at what they should be at, and doing as well as they should. So they're taking these drugs that they have gotten, I would say, addicted to, that to them only helps them perform at what they should be. And socially, doping scandals damage reputations, causes fans to lose trust, and hurting the entire sport. For example, Major League Baseball steroids era in the early 2000s changed how fans view home run records and athlete achievements. So, in baseball, when people are taking steroids and hit these home run records because they're so strong and can hit all these home runs, and then they realize that they've been taking steroids and they're stripping these people from the Hall of Fame, the records that they've set, because it's not truly them, it's the drug that's getting them these records and getting them to these high places. And in sports management, these scandals will affect scholarships, sponsorships, ticket sales, league credibility, because if they're allowing these athletes to do these steroids and up their play and their skill, then it's just not credible to the sport and how it should be done. And it also just harms the entire system, and the drug doesn't just harm the athlete itself, it harms everyone. It harms their family, it harms the fans, the coaches, their teammates, all of it. So drugs in sports is one of the biggest challenges in the world that I'm in with athletics and sports. And performance-enhancing drugs may seem to promise success and reward from it and making yourself better, but it does come with serious risks, such as health. It could get rid of your career and the integrity of the game. As a future sports manager, understanding the issues help me and others protect both the sports and the honesty of competition.